Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine with Behind the Markets. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo to those of you who celebrate. And for those of you who don't celebrate, it's a great excuse to get some tacos. But it is Mexican Independence Day. Quite a big deal. It's our July 4th. That's a big deal. So good for you. Today, I wanted to talk about an article that I read last week in the Wall Street Journal. And it really hints at the revolution that's happening in warfare, which is something that we've been talking about here for years, because you guys know that defense is one of my big interest topic areas based on my love for history and warfare. And a lot of people are wondering, why are you so interested in defense? I've studied the decline of empires, the decline of countries. I've spent my life basically studying this. History is my first love, frankly. I've spent my life studying how these things happen, and I've always wondered how we as Americans can really prevent the American beautiful experiment that we have from declining. And this is one of the big reasons that I focus so much on warfare. What kind of armed services does a country need to really protect itself? Anyway, that is what drove my initial interest. And right now we are witnessing a revolution in warfare. They're calling it the fourth revolution in warfare. It is happening right now. And this is brought home by an article in the Wall Street Journal last week. Quote, U.S. Army plans massive increase in its use of drones. The shift to more small unmanned aircraft is based on lessons from Ukrainian battlefield. Now that understates what we're watching here. As human beings, not just Americans, human beings, ex-Vice Chief of Staff Jack Keane, Army Chief of Staff, said, quote, land warfare has transitioned to drone warfare. A soldier carrying a rocket-propelled grenade, a tank, command and control facilities, artillery positions can all be taken out by drones very rapidly, end quote. What is he saying? That is a big statement. We watch those World War II movies, like Saving Private Ryan, and you have these guys sitting there with those rocket-propelled grenades, hiding behind bushes. There's mortars or shoulder-fired mortar grenades. Whatever it is, they're sitting behind bushes, and their tanks come in there, and they shoot at the tank and get it. They're saying that's going away. Basically, because drones just fly above, patrol the skies, and just take out those people doing those things. It's really amazing to me. What we are witnessing is not just a modern revolution in warfare. It's changing how wars are being fought in a very fundamental way for the very first time in human history. When you think back about it historically, what you have is a situation where every army, the army with the fastest kill chain, is the one that always was most successful. And a kill chain is the process that military calls identify, target, kill. Identify, target, kill. You identify your opponent, you target your opponent, and you kill your opponent. That is the kill chain ever since the beginning of time. And when you think back to early Middle East or Egypt or even ancient history, Alexander the Great and Caesar, the kill chain was always simple. You see your enemy across the field, you identify him, you target him, you raise your arrows, let's say, you fly it away, and you kill. So it's always been a eye-to-eye kill chain. And in the past several years in the invention of the missile, especially with targeting, especially in the 90s with the Gulf War, we saw that really well on display. It became a kill chain where you don't even have to see your opponent. But soldiers were always key. Infantry, grunts were always key to the process of going after the enemy. There's no doubt about it. And what this is saying is that when you leave your soldiers out there exposed, whoever has control of the skies can just take them out. So what is the Army doing? This is a revolution, basically, because the Army, as a result of this, is stopping its procurement of Humvees, which has been its main light utility vehicle for decades. It's also going to cancel purchases of its Joint Light Tactical Vehicle. It's also stopping procurement of its M10 light tank, which is a big deal. They have found that has proved heavier and less useful than planning, and some Apache helicopters. So we are moving to a place where it's not too hard to imagine, where you basically, instead of soldiers sitting there with those rocket-propelled grenades hiding behind the bushes, that has to go away because they're just too vulnerable to drones incoming that just fly above and send our arsenal down, basically, projectiles down. So we're actually starting to move to an army, a military, where it probably looks more like a bunch of people, kids, basically, playing Xbox, fighting with drones against the other side. Basically, if you can't put your soldiers on the field safely in tanks or in hiding positions because you're afraid of drones that can look down and spot where you are and take them out, where are you going to put your soldiers? That's one big question. The other big question is how you're going to fight these wars. This is going to look like a bunch of kids playing Xbox, basically on their iPads, on communication devices, basically fighting drones, sending them off against each other, which is very interesting. But this is something that we've talked about for a very long time, and we have like 3 of the best positioned companies to benefit the most for this particular exact environment. Because again, in this scenario, you need hardware, you need the actual drones themselves, and you're going to need software. So in Breakthrough Wealth, this is the service that we use to focus on this kind of stuff. We have a lot of exciting companies here. And with the new $1 trillion defense budget that Trump has proposed, it looks like a lot of these companies are going to get a lot of action. In other words, Wayne Gretzky says, what makes me great basically is I don't skate to where the puck is, I skate to where the puck is going to be. And basically, we have skated to where the puck is going to be. We are already here, and now the world and the budget is catching up to us. And I hope you join us on that. Anyway, that's all I have for this wonderful Monday. I will see you tomorrow.